What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Today, man, we're interviewing a brother that spent some time in federal prison out west. Anyway, Matty B, tell the people who you are and let's get into your story.
What's up, my brother? So my name's Matt. I go by Matty or Matty Boy. I'm from California. I did time in state prisons in California, and then I went to the federal system too.
Talk a little bit about your life, man. What's it like growing up in California? Did you grow up in the hood? Did you grow up in a different type of neighborhood? I mean, what was your life like?
Well, I grew up in a normal neighborhood. Where I grew up, it wasn't like the projects or nothing like that. Like at the time that my parents bought the house, I think they bought it for $25,000. So it wasn't like it was upper class. But I grew up both my parents were drug dealers. So our environment was basically all the craziness that everybody was in the projects was going through. You know what I mean?
Predominantly white neighborhood or no?
Yeah.
What about your parents being drug dealers? What type of drugs?
Meth. Like my dad did some prison time for some robberies back in the late 60s. He got out in like 75, 76, had us, me and my brother and my sister. And then he tried to work, like do the normal shit. And then he got into the game, man. Something like the work life wasn't for him, and started running around with some cats that were in the meth trade. And then him and my mom both started going hard in that shit. So
was your dad like a biker or no?
My dad rode Harleys and shit like that, but it was like he wasn't in no clubs or nothing like that. But my dad rode Harleys, yeah.
Were your parents using or just selling?
So I think like when me and my brothers and my sister were real young, I think my dad partied on the weekends or whatever shit like that. My mom used pills. Like my mom was heavy into the whole fucking little pill thing. But I think like my dad kept it cool until like later on in life. Maybe when I turned like 14 or 15, he started smoking meth shit at times. Like me and my dad was smoking meth together. So
crazy, man, because I just did a case with a guy where the judge says, you know what, you had no chance in life because you were, shooting dope with your dad when you were 12. The first time this kid used drugs was with his dad. He was shooting dope at 12. And in my mind, I'm reading that and I'm listening to the transcript of that hearing, and I'm thinking, damn, bro, what the, like, for real, like, this dude had no shot. Do you feel like, you getting high with your dad? Like, how did that feel inside?
Well, like at the time, so my mom and my dad split, right? My dad was a damn tramp, bro. He just couldn't stay in one place for very long. So while him and my mom were separated, I ended up getting into one of my mom's stash and took some of her volumes. I slept for a few days. My mom ended up telling one of her friends, and one of her friends ended up telling my dad. So my dad flipped out. And at the time, my dad was on drugs. But my dad flipped out and wanted me to move in with him. And my mom was like, oh, you don't have to do that. So that just opened up the doors for me to go harder, right? So me and my dad didn't talk for a couple years. And then when we finally talked, it was like I was running hard, but we was both so happy to be around each other. It was like, fuck, we're start partying together. So like the effects and the way I lived growing up, bro, didn't have an effect on me till I came home from the feds. And then I was around my nieces who were like 14, 15 years old. And I see them doing little, just like shit normal 15 and 16-year-old kids would be doing. And I was like, fuck, man, me and my brother at that age were completely just off the hook. So I just look back on it, bro, and it trips me out. You know what I mean? I'm I'm glad that I was naive to the fact of like the detrimental effects that lifestyle had on a person growing up, because like I don't resent my parents for it. I feel like they was caught up in the game like I ended up being caught up in the game. You start seeing all that money and you just it's easy to get swept up in that madness.
So when you're younger, your parents are selling drugs. I mean, is your life good as far as financial goes, food, clothing? You guys are living a good life, enjoying things.
Yeah, bro. Like I look back, like in the real early parts, the parts that I really don't remember. Going to Kmart didn't bother me when I was 6 years old. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Driving in a little Volkswagen didn't bother me none. But like eventually Christmases started being crazy, bro. We walk out and have two GT performers, a dirt bike. It was just, yeah, money started coming in, bro, and it was obvious.
Let me ask you this. Eventually, your parents start getting high and they split up. Does the financial situation kind of slip now where you're like, damn, man, we ain't living so good because our parents are getting high?
Nah. Sorry about that. Nah, my mom was a hustler, bro. You know what I mean? So, um, like nothing ever changed, bro. So, and then I mean, eventually, me and my brother and my sister, it was like a fucking bruh. Like the situation in my family, it was crazy. We'd be all on the transportation buses. It would be me, my sister, my brother, and my mom. Motherfuckers, my mom, my sister up there with the girls, me and my brother back here with the dudes, obviously. And
So let me ask you this now. Now you're getting a little bit older. You're out there. You're in the game. You're hustling. Are you still using meth at this time?
yeah, so once I started using meth between my eighth and ninth grade year of school, um, I was a wreck, bro. So like my hustle was it. I hustled to get high. It was just there. I was the bad dope fiends. The dudes that we didn't like in prison because they didn't give a fuck about the consequences of anybody else. That was me until I went to state prison at 20 years old. And then it was like I got that kind of brain that just festers on shit, bro. So I got to state prison and I hated myself for the person that I was on meth. So I vowed to never do meth again. So once I got to prison, came home, I never did meth again. So I started hustling different after I came home at like 24 years old.
Let's talk about that state prison system because then we're going to kind of compare it to the feds, right? You go to state prison where in California?
Yeah.
What's it like in the county jail before you get to prison?
Oh well, fuck, bro. My county jail is like Coco County cats, bro. We got a pretty solid reputation. So like you hit our county jails, bro, and the white boys got like a situation set up in there. So if you're a solid dude, you're gonna go in there and it's like a prison preparation. You know what I mean? They're gonna prep you on everything California politics and get you ready for prison.
That's where I was going with it. Are there ABs down there, or kind of like them type of dudes, or what?
Yeah. Yeah, they got them in I mean, they're always in the hole, you know what I mean? They don't ever let them type of cats around general population. So, but yeah, I mean,
At least back then they did. Now they've been letting a lot of them dudes out of Pelican Bay, and they're doing different things where they're trying to integrate them back into the prison system. So you get down there, they kind of lay down the law, right? I mean, like I talk about when I went to Big Sandy, there was a white TV, there was a white mop bucket, there was a black TV. I mean, is it kind of racially segregated like that in the county jail too?
yeah, most definitely. White barber, white TV, black TV, white. Well, I don't think they really did the shower thing, but like everything else was just like that. Yeah.
You go to state prison. What state prison do you go to?
I went to Jamestown.
Is that kind of like a lower security?
It was a level 3, so a step down from like a USP or whatever. But there's a camp or whatever. Now I say it like that because now it's a shit yard. Back in 1998, it wasn't a shit yard. So
What's it like when you get there, your first day? I mean, do you get a knife? Do they lay down the politics? Tell the people how it is when you get there in a California prison.
Well, I so I hit the yard, bro, and I had a homeboy there. So it was just like, and mind you, I get to, so let me back up. I get to reception. My mom's husband's in reception. So it's like the fucking carpet is laid out to me, bro. When I got to prison, it wasn't like the nervousness, the what's this gonna be like? I couldn't wait to leave the county jail to get to the pen because that's where all my people were at. You know what I mean? Um, so I got to the reception. My mom's husband comes over and sees me, gives me a package and all that shit, bro. It was just like, I don't know, bro. It was just I was already in the mix so tough because of who my family was. Me going to prison, it was just like me getting hooked right back up with all the dudes I was running with before I went there. So
You're in prison. I mean, are you hustling in there? Are you gang banging? What's it like for a white dude back then walking in? Are you gang affiliated?
Um, well, so I in our system, a lot of times, like everybody's clicked up by their counties. You know what I mean? So I'm clicked up with my county. So like I had a little gang thing that I was running with, but at that time, like the system wasn't familiar with it. You know what I mean? So I was just clicked up with my homeboys from where I was from, and that's who we all ran together. You know what I mean? So you get to the yard in California, the first thing the white dudes say is, "Where are you from?" You tell them where you're from. They go and get your homeboys. Your homeboys go over there, get your paperwork. You know, do the whole little welcoming committee thing, get you all dialed in where you're gonna live and all that type of stuff. So I don't know, bro. It was like the our system. What I tell people is when you walked off that fucking bus, bro, and got to the yard, you knew where you was going. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, okay, I could look over here and see like a mixture of people or a mixture of people over here. Nah, you see white dudes over here, Southsiders over there, Northerners over there, and the blacks over there. So
Who's the most dangerous gang or group over there at that time?
why I know you was gonna ask that. You love asking that question, my brother. So on that yard, it was I mean, them Southsiders, bro. Them Southsiders are fucking treacherous, bro.
All the white dudes. I mean, if there's ever an issue, I mean, let's say a white dude has an issue with a South Sider, they're like, oh shit, man, we got problems with them dudes, man, work it out. Or they're like, yo, bro, it is what it is. We're about to get busy.
Um, I think them dudes. I think they always try to keep like a balance between them two groups of people. So because I assume the effects of like a war in that situation could be crazy or something.
How about you personally? Any violence on your behalf? You have to put in any work?
I Nah, there wasn't no work being put in, bro. It's like it's the white boys had it good on that yard when we was there. You know what I mean? It was like we had a couple little minor altercations with like some fucking J cats fucking being on the yard. They had to get whooped or something like that. But for the most part, bro, it was like the white boys had it good in that institution that I was at.
You know, sometimes we hear the word J-Cat, right? I see other people talk about it. Tell the people what a J-Cat is in California.
Well, so J cats can have multiple meanings, bro. So like if me and you were if me and you were Cellies, homie, I'd have called you a J cat 5 million times. You'd have probably ended up calling me a fucking J cat because I use it so often. But like so a J cat could just be a fucking crazy motherfucker, bro, or it could like literally mean a fucking like the person that's on psych meds and fucking walking sideways and all that type of shit. That's actually where the term came from. But now it could be a term of endearment. Like, nah, don't even worry about the homeboy. He's a J cat.
So it's just like, yeah, he's bugged out, man. Just let him do what he does.
Hell yeah.
So you end up doing that little bit of time. You get out. You're back on the street. What's life like? What are you doing once you're back out?
So I had like all the intentions of being good. You know, I got a job as a pipe fitter, and I was man, I was doing good for like a couple months, bro. And then it was just like that little, it was like I came home and all the attention that I had while I was in prison was gone. All the people that I was running around with when I was in the streets and all that shit was gone. So it was kind of like, it was weird for me, man. I was like, I was craving the attention, man. And it was just like a cultural shock, man. So I got out in September. By November, I was back in the game, bro. I started off like I think selling ecstasy or something, and then jumped back into crystal. So, yeah, it didn't take long.
You're not using though again. You said you were committed to never using again. Do you ever get back into
Yeah,
it?
I never used meth. So like I would party and sniff cocaine when I was drinking and shit like that. But I mean, I love to party, bro. But like I was a much better hustler when I came home this time.
How long are you out before you catch your Fed case?
So I got out in the end of 2001, and then I stayed out for 21 months, and then I caught a violation. They sent me back to prison for 270 days for I got a DUI. These fuckers sent me back to prison for 270 days flat, no good time, before I was even convicted in the courts. So, but then I went and did a 9-month violation in the state prison, came home, and I was home for 6 months and then caught the Fed case.
What's the Fed case for?
Cocaine.
Cocaine. How much?
I had 150 keys.
Come on now, bro. 150 keys?
150, 320 pounds.
Tell us about that. You catch a Fed case. How do you end up with 150 keys, bro? People are wondering right now, like, what the?
For the story, like, no matter how many times I tell the story, bro, it never sounds fucking like realistic. So, I had a partner. My partner's the dude that actually got me the job. Like he's the one that talked to my mom, got me the job as the pipe fitter and all that. At this time, I didn't know that. So come full circle, he heard I didn't like I was working at the as a pipe fitter. So he hooked me up at the refinery as an insulator. And then I started mingling with him. Well, I went and did my violation. After I got back from my violation, every once in a while, this dude would drop off like a bag of quality stuff, right? Of meth. And I would be like, bro, I need a lot. And he was like, oh, I'm going to get you a lot. I'm going to get you a lot. And this kept going and kept going and kept going to where it was like I stopped believing him. And I'm not trying to drag out the story, but eventually he hits me up and is like, hey, will you do me a favor? Come for a ride with me. We're going to be doing some guys a big favor. And after this, they've assured me that you could get whatever you want.
So what's the big favor? I mean, are you delivering the 150 keys?
I'm driving the keys from California to right outside of Illinois. So like Des Moines, Iowa or something.
You're on your way down there for some cartel dudes, more than likely.
Oh, I'd imagine with that much weight, bro. So
they're really not your 150 keys. You're just doing a delivery.
Yep.
No promise of money, nothing.
I was promised $2,500.
$2,500 for driving 150 keys? Are you serious?
Hey, homie, listen. I feel embarrassed saying that, man. You know what I mean? It's like fucking when you think about it, man, but it's like, I went and did a 12 and a half year sentence, bro, for $2,500, man. You know what I mean? I could look at any motherfucker in the face and tell him, bruh, you want to know what I'm about? Here it is. I mean, I could have fucking snaked my motherfucking Cody Finney, did whatever I tried, anything, bro. You know what I mean? I feel like that dude pretty much greased me. So if I'd have fucking returned the favor, it wouldn't have been that motherfucking big of a deal. But
Really, you're just kind of muling these 150 keys. You get knocked. What happens? You get pulled over?
yeah, we got pulled over in Park City, Utah, and the cop pulls me out of the car, gets me in his car, and starts taking me on a fucking fishing expedition. And eventually he hands me a warning for speeding and tells me I'm good to go. I get outside the car and then he tells me to wait. And he goes and talks to my Cody Finney and my passenger. And my passenger tells him that we stayed at a different motel than what I told him we stayed at. He told us our stories weren't adding up. Then he asked my passenger if he could search the car. He searched the car. They found the dope. And here we are.
Wow. You guys didn't have your story together or what?
Nah.
You know that you're transporting 150 keys?
No.
You don't know. What are you thinking in your mind? What do you think you got in the vehicle?
Well, fuck, bro. He wasn't descriptive when he told me what we was taking. You know what I mean? He was just like, we're taking a light load to Chicago. And it's like, bro, I was young and dumb, man. I thought that was an opportunity. You know what I mean? A naive dude that just was like, fuck, man, if this is what he's saying it is, and I could get as much work as I want, to me, it was like, fuck, this is a no-brainer.
You're thinking, man, I'm going to make this move. I'm going to be connected. You're young. You're
fuck yeah.
8 days. And really, man, you end up jammed up. How much time do you get sentenced to in the feds? What's your actual sentence?
150 months.
So you get 150 months. How much time do you do out of that?
I did 10 years. So I did like 9 years and something inside, and then the 8 months in the halfway house, 9 months in the halfway house.
While you're sitting in prison, man, are you sitting back thinking like, wow, man, I'm here for nothing, man. I didn't get anything out of this.
Fuck yeah, bro. That shit, it was like, it was embarrassing, man. You know what I mean? Fuck, imagine telling your family. I mean, obviously my family knew that I was in that game and I was running hard and doing all that. So these consequences were bound to happen. But it was like, bro, I could have stayed home. I was doing fucking marvelous at home hustling. But it was just like I was greedy. I wanted more. I wanted that opportunity, bro.
A lot of young dudes want that opportunity. They're dreaming of big things. I just had a friend, man, he was sentenced to life. He's been in there about 20 years, writing me, Chad, help me with the clemency. I do his clemency. Do a compassionate release for me. We're writing his compassionate release. And, man, he died the other day, bro, in federal prison at 47 years old after doing 20 years, bro. He had a life sentence, gets the life sentence reduced down to, I think it was 360 months, and dies, man. Did all that time and dies in prison, man. And
that shit's terrible, man.
He was chasing a dream when he was young, and it cost him his life, man.
Oh, bro, listen, you know how many fucking times, even like leading up to this podcast, that I've sat there and thought, but basically the cop saved my fucking life. You know what I mean? But that shit could have went completely fucking south, and my life would have been over for $2,500 fucking dollars, bro, for just a hope on finding a plug.
Let me ask you this. You get pulled over for speeding, right? So really, they're probably looking at you like it's your fault, bro. Our load got knocked for you because you were young, ignorant, and you started speeding, and you got pulled over, and we lost all of this dope. Were you ever worried about that? Like when you got out of prison, like there might be some people on your ass?
Of course. Of course. I mean, bro, it's like, yeah, I've thought about that a billion times.
I ask you that for a reason, because some people don't even realize that. Some young dudes, they're not thinking about that. They're not thinking about what the consequences might be. Why were you speeding? Didn't you guys have this down? Like, yo, bro, no speeding, stop at every stop sign. I mean, you had the perfect plan, right? We always have the perfect plan until it don't work out.
Yeah, hell yeah. But like, honestly, man, as crazy as it fucking sounds, bro, like a part of me was like, is this real? Is this dude telling the truth? Are we really taking a fucking light load? Bruh, I told this dude, I was like, homeboy, first of all, I don't have ID. Second of all, I'm on parole. You know what I mean? This is like a fucking, I said, if we're really taking a light load, why don't you let me follow you? You know what I mean? You take off, I'll follow you. I'm on parole. I'll be a fucking nut job, and you know what I mean? I'll do whatever it takes, bro, to fucking make sure that nobody gets on whatever. And he was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. So I was like, fuck, I don't know. So
Time did he get? How much time does the passenger get?
same amount.
How about the bigger guys in the organization? Do they end up getting jammed up over this too, or no?
Nah, me and my Cody Finn are only two people.
Someone else gets knocked. There's not no conspiracy. So really, they're not watching the vehicle. They're not listening to phones. You just get knocked on a humbug.
Yep.
You know, this is the story that people hear about, and they're like, man, I just got to say it, bro. Dumb motherfuckers.
Fuck yes, bro. Fuck, that shit was horrible, man. That shit was fucking horrible, man.
Cases like this all the time, and I'm like, what the hell are these dudes thinking about? I didn't know that situation, bro. I didn't know that that's what happened. So now you go to federal prison, right? What's your first federal prison?
FCI Tucson.
FCI Tucson. What's it like to walk into FCI Tucson? Not too bad, right?
Oh my God, bro. So I mean, I was hearing about the yards in Arizona when I was in Utah. Like everybody was like, oh, they're the last state that still have weights. So obviously everybody that I was with over there was like, fuck, we're trying to go to fucking Arizona. So, and then I got there, bro, and my God, this place legitimately, I mean, if there was no fences, it looked like a college campus or something, bro. You know what I mean? It was little cactuses fucking here and there, trees. It was nothing like the barren, plain nothingness of the state prison I was used to.
How long do you stay at Tucson?
7 years, 7.5 years.
What's it like there for the white dudes? I mean, there's really not. I mean, is there any violence over there? What's going on there?
Shit, for me, there was more, like I was involved with more altercations in that fucking place than anywhere else I'd ever been, than like county jails, juvenile halls, nothing, because I feel like people there didn't understand, like, even simple politics. You know what I mean? Like, minding your own business. Like, don't speculate on another man's character unless you know about that man's character. You know what I mean? And in a situation like mine, where I got busted with 300 pounds of cocaine, a lot of people wanted to fucking try to speak their minds. So I had altercations about that shit, bro. But
let me stop you. When you say speak their mind, what are they saying?
Like, how do you get 150-month sentence when you got busted with 300 pounds of cocaine?
Tell the people how that happens.
Well, in my situation, the police officer gave me that warning for speeding on audio and video and told me my traffic stop was over. So my attorneys was going to take that to the motion to suppress and try to beat it on a technicality, because this cop told me I was good to go and then never asked me to continue on with the traffic stop, which is a consensual traffic stop. Mind you, this is all shit that I learned about when I was fighting my case. So in order for that cop to have even went up to my passenger and talked to my passenger after telling me I'm good to go, he had to get consent. So, excuse me, Mr. Donahue, can I ask you another question? And if I turn around not knowing the laws and tell him, sure, then I just gave him consent to continue on with the traffic stop. So anything he did after that would have been legal. But in my situation, it was illegal because he told me I was good to go and then continued on with the stop anyway.
Really, once the stop is done, you're free to go. There's no reason to detain you. There's no reasonable suspicion that there's any crime afoot because he's already made a determination that you can leave. There's no probable cause to really search the vehicle. So once the traffic stop was done, it was done. It's supposed to cut off there. A lot of people don't understand that. So now he goes and he questions your guy. So now you really have a Fourth Amendment violation. But instead of pursuing it, you make a deal and say, you know what? I don't want to take the chance. I might win. I might not win. And if I don't win, I'm in serious trouble, right?
Exactly. And so they offered me 20 years. My attorney says that's not even on the table. It's not even a possibility. He's not going to take it. His family's not going to take it. We'll see you guys at the motion to suppress hearing. So they sent the prosecutor a rough draft of that motion to suppress. And then they came back with the 10-year deal, but the 10-year deal was faulty. So I told my attorney that I wasn't going to take it. So then they came back with the 12.5-year deal. What's that shit called? It's a certain kind of a plea to where the prosecution agrees on it. We agree on it.
So they offer you an 11C1C binding plea agreement. Everybody agrees. Everybody's on board. That's what you get. It's a binding plea under Rule 11C1C.
Yeah, unless the judge says that it's not, like he don't agree with it, right?
That's what it is. It's an 11C1C plea agreement.
Yeah.
So anyway, you do that time. You talk about, you had some issues. I mean, dudes are talking about you, gossiping, makes you angry inside. What do you do?
I fight.
So you're in there fighting about it. You win or lose. You're Irish, right?
Yeah.
You win, right?
Of course.
Even if you did, man, we'll just, you won. That's it, Matty. No, I'm just joking.
Well, listen, and in my experience in prison politics, is like if the other person if one side of the situation is in the wrong, that side can't win. So it was one of them situations where they was going to be on the bad end no matter what the situation was.
You're fighting other white dudes. I know there's probably a bunch of paisas over there. Who you fighting with? White dudes?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the paisas were deep as fuck, but the paisas ain't in our business. You know what I mean? So
it's white dudes that you're in there scrapping with.
Yeah. And then, after a couple times, bro, that shit died. You know what I mean? It was just like I was trying to say, man, it's like you get to them institutions where people don't know nothing serious. So they just want to sit there and gossip like girls or whatever. I don't know, man.
Then eventually you get out, you end up leaving Tucson. Where do you go after that?
I went to Oxford for the RDAP program.
Man, bro, you're in all the sweet spots, brother.
Hell yeah.
What do you leave? Do you leave Tucson based on some violence, or you just leave there because you're going off to the drug program?
Yeah, no, I was at the end of my sentence, so I had to go over there for the for RDAP because Tucson didn't have it.
What about you? Okay, so you do your time, you get out. How long you been out?
So I got out in the 2014. So I've been out for 10 years now, coming up on 10 years. No, it's been 10 years.
Living your best life. I know you got two little twin boys?
Bro, I got 5 kids. I just had twins recently, though. So, yeah, bro, I came home. I was on a mission, man. That like my last, when I got to Oxford, bro, it was like the worst time that I've ever done in my life. You know what I mean? I'm far away from home. It just, and then because the people that I was running around with on the streets had all caught murder charges, and like a person that I spent my entire life knowing, like we was best friends in kindergarten, bro. He turned into he went to witness protection and was trying to make the little group that I was running around with seemed a lot more like worse than it was. So like as my time's getting closer to being over, I keep thinking in the back of my mind like another group is going to come pick me up and my time's going to start somewhere else. So it was like that. It was just miserable for me, bro. And I knew when I came home, I was like, man, something's got to be different this time.
Something has to be different. What was the struggle like when you got out financially, man? Was it hard to go get a job and not hustle?
Well, like my hardest part, bro, because I've had a history of seizures. So when I came home trying to get a license was a headache. I was fortunate though, man, because like when I was in Arizona, I had a friend from Oakland that we was homeboys. Shit, it was the closest thing that I had. I'm from the Bay Area. He's from the Bay Area. So when he was going home, I got him a job. So he lived on the opposite side of where our work was. So on his way to work, he'd pick me up, and on his way home, he'd drop me off. So it was like I was fortunate in that regard. So like right when I came home, bro, within a month, I was working. I mean, I wasn't making a lot of money. I started also trying to drive for Uber because I had a son. My oldest was born, and I was struggling, bro. I was making like $400 or $500 a fucking week in California. That is just it's nothing.
So dude's kind of driving you around, you got your job. He's kind of helping you out, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. Honestly, man, because like not having a license and getting and bro, like I'd never have to use like public transportation or anything like that. So all that type of stuff was new to me, and it was a culture shock. And like I said, my homeboy helped me out immensely, man.
We're going to talk a little bit about this situation, right? A lot of people probably don't know, but your mother goes to federal prison. She's connected to the Aryan Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
And your mother is the lady who I think Yandel reaches out to her, says, hey, look, I need you to send a letter to Barry Mills because we're ready to go to war with the DC blacks, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how is your mother connected to the Aryan Brotherhood, and how does your mother end up in federal prison?
So I had talked about my father being in a state prison earlier. So when my dad comes home, my dad maintains contact with the guys that he was in prison with. My dad got close, obviously, bro. When you're in prison and you become close with cats, bro. It's hard to break them ties. And my dad maintained them ties once he got home. So, but eventually, my mom and my father split. Well, while my mom and my dad were together, my mom would like send the letters for my dad to like Barry or whatever. So then, but after my mom and my dad split, Barry reached out to my father and asked my father if it was cool if he still maintained like a relationship with my mother. Not like that, but the friendship that they've created, was it okay to continue that on? And my dad didn't care. So
Ask you this, right? Because you say, your dad had some friends, and usually dudes don't go to prison and they come home and they're just friends with people like Barry Mills, right? So, in all reality, was your dad clicked up, or is it something you want to talk about?
no, I don't. If my dad was clicked up, I wouldn't mind talking about it. Nah, my dad told me specifically, like, and the way my dad put it to me was the opportunity wasn't not there. It's just my dad knew what that commitment was. And my father always told me, man, like when I was away, there was just one thing that I wanted, and I wanted it more than anything. And I wanted to come home and have kids. So he wasn't willing to make that commitment with them guys. So it was, I mean, I just think like my dad was one of them guys, bro, that was just he was a dangerous motherfucker. So, like them type of dudes are attracted to people like that. So, like I said, my dad he just didn't want to make that commitment. So, but he was buddies with them cats.
Really, he's kind of like associate with them, hung out with them, they liked him, but he's like, look, man, I'm here if anything happens, bro, but I'm not ready to go all in and do this or do that. I'm just me, and they respected that.
Yeah, they did.
When your mother gets arrested, the government alleges that she's a prominent figure in the Aryan Brotherhood, right? She's friends with Barry. She's passing on messages. What else do they allege that your mom's doing? Do you know?
Oh, bro, they had her on the world news. They accused her of 13 murders, 23 attempted murders, like trafficking drugs and all that type of shit. They painted her as a horrible villain.
You think your mom was kind of like the secretary for Barry Mills?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that like if you read the indictment and seen my mom's part in it, you would I think you would have to make up your own decision. You know what I mean? But I think like at one point, bro, Barry and TD's attorneys told or not their attorneys, but the prosecution told my mom's attorney, like this was a way of getting back at them guys, because there was nothing else that they could do to them. And them dudes love my mom. You know what I mean? It was like, they genuinely cared for that lady. So it was like, I don't know, bro.
I mean, you're around when Barry Mills is calling the house and stuff when you're younger, right?
Yeah.
Thinking in your mind, you know who Barry Mills is when he's calling the house? You're like, hey, man, that's that dude, bro.
Bro, I mean, that's like, I try to tell people, like in my household, bro, that was the people that we looked up to. You know what I mean? You're hearing these stories about these dudes. My dad starts telling me stories about these dudes, specifically that man. You know what I mean? And what kind of person he was, and what kind of just what kind of a warrior that cat was. So it's like, fuck, it's hard not to be infatuated with that shit. My dad's my hero. I seen my dad wreak havoc on people, bro. My dad was a savage. So I'm looking up to my father, my father, my hero, is talking highly about this cat. So it was hard not for me to be like impressed by this dude's status. You know what I mean? So
talking about your stepfather, right? You or your mother's husband or whatever. You get to prison or you get to the jail or whatever, and you see this dude. Is he affiliated? Is that why it's so easy for you to integrate in?
No, he was a biker. So my mom's husband was a red and white. So he wasn't affiliated with them other guys. But bro, so look it, when I got to San Quentin, a gang coordinator pulled over me and another dude. This other dude was a gang member. So he starts telling the other dude, I need pictures of the gang tattoos and this and that and that and this. And then one thing leads to another. And then the dude attention comes over to me, and he figures out he asked me my last name, and I told him Donahue, and he was like, Matty Boy. So it was just like my little transition into fucking jail, bro, was like, it was just, people were waiting for me. It was just like the fucking welcoming committee. It was welcome home, bro. You finally made it. It's like the energy or vibe. The best way I could explain it is, it sounds crazy, but that's how it was.
Your mom is on the run, right? She doesn't get arrested initially. She's on the run. She gets arrested in San Francisco. But your mother, do you know that she's on the run? Do you know that the feds are looking for your mom back then? I mean, you were younger, but I mean, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was older. I was because this was after my violation. So no, wait. So during my violation, this is like 2003, 2004. So during my violation, my mom gets arrested. So, and then this big thing's going, no, hold the fuck on. Yeah. So, but they raid the house, bro. I'm free. My parole address is at my fucking mom's house, bro. Like, so So they call me. How does this happen? So my sister calls me and's like, Maddie, the fucking feds are next door. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro. So I called my mom. I was like, Mom, please fucking tell me you didn't have no dope in the fucking house. She's like, I'm sorry, I had dope in the fucking house. So, but yeah, now my mom's on the run. Yeah.
I mean, listen, you know, your mom has dope in the house. What else is in the house when they bust the house?
That's all they found in the house was some meth.
They bust in the house. They find the meth. I mean, your mom's connected to Barry Mills. I mean, are people out there on the street? Some of the ABs kind of, I mean, your mother, we'll talk about this in a minute, but your mother passes away. I mean, I don't want to disrespect you or your family or anything like that, but you feel like your mom's she's getting stuff from the plug from the ABs? Are they looking out on the dope tip?
No, I don't, because my mom had her own plugs with like a completely different direction than that. You know what I mean? So, but I mean,
Your mom's passing on the letters, right? That's what the government alleges as far as
that's what that is.
As far as Yandel, you know, he contacts, hey, can you get in contact with Barry? Tell him we're ready to go to war. This DC black thing is going on. People are getting killed in prison. Do you know what's going on in federal prison? Are you even aware of who the DC blacks are at the time, or the whole AB kind of clash thing?
Yeah, I've been familiar with it just because of my mom. You know what I mean? And obviously reading the info, like the paperwork, and just yeah, I mean, I was in the little circle, so my mom would talk, we would hear, and all that type of stuff. But I feel like that the DC black and the AB rivalry thing has been something that's been going on for fucking decades, bro. So I was a little familiar with it.
Your mom's on the world news. Are you worried about your mom? Like, holy shit, my mom's on the world news for being in the Aryan Brotherhood?
Yeah, hell yeah. I was like, and bro, when they're talking about um that many murders and all that type of shit, yeah, I was like, fuck, man, this motherfucking shit just got real.
You talk to your mom why she's arrested? I mean, after she's in jail, are you like, damn, mom, I love you. I'm worried about you.
Yeah, hell yeah. It was but I mean, obviously we're like, don't even worry about it. We got attorneys and everything like that. We're gonna do everything. We're hopeful, you know what I mean? It was just like I mean, it was crazy, bro, but it was like one of them things where you lightweight expected something like that to eventually happen, right?
Yeah, but maybe when you're younger and you're not really understanding, you know, how the feds work, you're not probably thinking in your mind like, you know, my mom's going to be busted by the
Oh
feds,
yeah.
or, you know, Aryan Brotherhood murderers, and, you know, at that time, possible death penalty, right?
Yeah, hell no. But you know, like, so I started being familiar with the whole federal system when I was real young, bro, because my uncle fought the feds back when I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12, and we went to the whole trial, and he ended up beating the trial. So from there, he ended up catching like he got found guilty on one of the lesser charges. He did like 4 or 5 years in Arizona. So we're flying from the Bay Area to Arizona, and so we're introduced to the damn federal system at a young age then too.
Wow, bro, you got a hell of a story for real, man. Bigger than what I thought it was.
Yeah, no, bro, it's like my story is so fucking bizarre, man. It's when you start trying to get into it, it's like one thing opens up and it keeps going in different directions, deeper and deeper and deeper. But my life was a saga, bro. It was like it's a lot like the type of shit that you would see in a movie. Some of the shit's so fucking unrealistic and unbelievable that it's like, but it was my reality, man. And a lot of it, it was like the shit was so normal to me, bro, that a lot of it didn't seem like a big deal. Like you asked me how I felt when my mom got arrested. I was tripping because, bro, I was like, fuck, she's got dope at the house. I'm on parole. That's my address. So I'm lightweight worried about my situation. You know what I mean? It was like,
Was there a point when you talked to your mom and she's like, damn, man, I might end up, never getting out of here?
Yeah, well, she immediately like went on the run, bro, and was like gone. And then she fucked up, got comfortable, came back, and one thing led to another.
She's gone, right? Do you get to see her, or is it like, damn, I don't even get to see my mom no more?
Yeah, no, I didn't get to see my mom, bro. It was like I don't remember how the talking situation was going. And at that time, bro, I was young and I was dumb, man. I took for granted. Even when my mom was on the run for what she was on the run for and me knowing the severity of it, I was still worried about myself. You know what I mean? My hustle, what I'm doing. And it was one of them things, bro, where I just took for granted. I thought my mom was always going to be there, even if she was in trouble. It was like, well, how long is she going to be gone? I don't know. You know what I mean? It was.
Your mom, I mean, this case comes down to what, 2003? How long is your mom on the run for?
She wasn't on the run for very long, bro. I know that. So, um, maybe a year.
It's arrested when she returns. She gets arrested in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, Santa Rosa, I think is where it was, which is outside of it's one of the little areas outside of San Francisco.
When your mom, she ends up going to federal court and everything, how much time does your mother get sentenced to in the feds?
My mom got 5 years.
Mom ends up with 5 years. Really not that serious. Really, she was kind of like, you know, she's passing messages at the end of the day. They tie your mom up in this thing, make it real big in the beginning. And, in the end, it kind of fizzles out, but she still ends up with 5 years. Your mom gets sick in prison. She seeks compassionate release. They deny her compassionate release. And eventually she gets out. How does she get out?
She got out because her attorney went back in front of the judge that sentenced her. So like her attorneys reached out to the prosecutor. The prosecutor said that if the judge was okay with it, he wouldn't argue it. So they asked the judge to release her, like to immediate release her, and they did it because I think for some reason my mom had some weird shit going on with her for going to that because like my mom's nephew worked in an institution out in California, and so my mom ended up going to an institution in Texas, and it was like some weird shit with the halfway house. So technically, like when she was denied her compassionate release, she could have already been home. You know, if the halfway house shit would have been working correctly.
Your mom comes home. How long is she home before, unfortunately, she passes away?
So my mom, fortunately, they gave my mom 6 months to live, and she ended up living a couple years, 2 years. She ended up passing away. So my mom went to prison in 2004. I think she got out 2007
Out in
ish.
2007. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about your dad? Where's your dad at?
So my dad, so my mom is terminally ill, and then June 29th, 2009, my sister sends me a text message, sends me an email and says, call me. Whenever my sister says that shit, bro, I know it's something wrong. So I call her and she says, my dad's in a coma. He overdosed on a bunch of pills. So a couple days later, we ended up taking him off life support. And then 9 days later, my mom died.
That's crazy, bro. Your old man dies and then your mom dies 9 days later.
I was in the feds too, bro. I was locked up during this time.
You don't get to go to either one of the funerals.
Nah. But you know what they did for me, man? They let them record it. Like my partner Josh was in tight with the pastor, and the pastor got it cleared through somebody, so they got to like record the whole ceremony and then send it in to me, and then me and like four or five the guys got to sit there and watch it. So it was pretty cool.
I mean, I don't know, man. Bad term to use, kind of like, it was cool. But I mean, what you mean is you got to see, the ceremony. Nothing cool about your parents passing away. I mean, it had to be devastating, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like it was better than nothing that I got to see something instead of no part of the ceremony.
And now I know, you're out. You've been out a long time. You're a father. Are you married now, Matt?
Nah, but I'm in a relationship with I have two twins. I have 5 kids, but the twins is mom and me are together. So the marriage is coming one day. Soon as I build up the courage to talk to her dad about it.
That's what's up, man. I'm glad that you're free. I know you're doing music. I know you got a YouTube channel, a bunch of different stuff. Tell the people how they can find you and find your music, bro.
Yeah, I'm on all the Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, anywhere that music is streamed, I'm on there. Matty Boy. Some of my social medias has Matty Boy 1417, but it's Matty Boy everything. If you look up Matty Boy, I'll be on there.
Well, listen, man, I'm going to put your links in the description, man. I appreciate you coming on. Tell people if you like what we're doing, man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out.